3. Here we go.
It's a new face for one of the nation's largest and oldest art museums.
Welcome, folks.
And a new calling for a familiar New York City cultural landmark. Welcome to Met Breuer.
Thank you.
So why did the Met, one of the world's most visited museums, need another location?
The Met has actually been collecting modern and contemporary art since its inception.
Thomas Campbell, the Met's director and CEO.
We want more space. We want to be more exploratory. We want to do more.
With that in mind, the Met went looking for a modern locale to expand its contemporary offerings and found the perfect fixer-upper around the corner, just a brief stroll away.
And here we are, 9 minutes walk from the main building in a space that was designed for modern and contemporary. So really, it was a great gift.
You may recognize it as the former home of the Whitney Museum, which recently moved to a new space in downtown Manhattan. It's a landmark structure designed by architect Marcel Breuer, which opened in 1966. The Hungarian-born, German-trained Breuer became well known for his heavy, sharp-edged, box-like designs, part of an architectural style that's come to be labeled brutalist.
When you look at this building, do you see a masterpiece?
Absolutely. I'm absolutely in love with this building.
Sheena Wagstaff, the Met's chairman of contemporary and modern art, had the job of taking this older, familiar space and making viewers see it with fresh eyes.
We wanted to take the building back to the way that Marcel Breuer designed it. And that meant taking off exposed cablings, all sorts of attachments in the walls, even taking the gum out of the concrete, which was a highly meticulous job.
It's a mundane kind of problem, but it all kind of adds up, doesn't it? Those little things.
Yes.
The result is a stripped-down, cleaner space, a building that lets the art speak for itself. Just the idea behind the Breuer's first major exhibit, called Unfinished, Thoughts Left Visible.
Many of the works in this room, you can really see where the painter stopped.
Andrea Bayer and Kelly Baum are the co-curators of the exhibit, featuring works left incomplete unintentionally or given an unfinished look on purpose. Together, they collected 200 pieces from the Renaissance through today, from artists including Vinci, Cezanne, and Warhol.
They allow us to see beneath the surface to earlier layers.
Kelly Baum.
They give us profound insight into the artistic process.
For example, this 1965 Alice Neel portrait of James Hunter Black, a Vietnam draftee.
She got as far as his face, neck, and one of his hands. The rest of the picture she only sketched in. The sitter never returned for a second sitting. He went off to war. And yet, Alice Neel signed the painting on the back and exhibited it during her lifetime because she deemed this incomplete painting finished, perfect.
The unusual search for incomplete works took these curators around the world, says Andrea Bayer.
We were looking at things, we had heard about things, and we went and investigated them. And when they grabbed us with their story, then we went forward with them.
Sounds like a fascinating treasure hunt, art hunt for you.
It was.
Some of their discoveries tell historical stories, like this painting by the 18th century French artist Jacques-Louis David.
David began this portrait of this young woman, Madame de Pastoret. The revolution came in France. She and her husband were on the monarchy side, and David was a strong revolutionary. And so the portrait could not be finished. And there are certain details in it that, in fact, are missing, one of which is that she's not really sewing because there's no needle and thread there.
So, revolution made for an unfinished portrait.
A political upheaval interrupted a work of art.
So what do we learn from looking at unfinished works of art?
They allow us to imagine ourselves alongside the artist, working in his or her studio, painting, scraping, editing, correcting. They allow us to recreate the way in which the work of art was actually made.
The person who is making the work has to decide when it is finished, how they want to finish it. Are they capable of finishing it? These are questions that are at the heart of the making of any kind of art.
Because art, and sometimes even the museums that house it, can be a work in progress.